So I'm gonna do something real quick. Yeah. It's gonna be a good one, boss. So I was messing with the screen share, I think. Oh, I figured it out. All right, now how do I stop it? Oh, funny guy. All right, give me a few seconds, y'all, and we're gonna go ahead and kick it off with a few of them young precepts. Young precepts. Grab my beer for this. My biblios. I might need that. I might need that. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. So we're gonna try and get it hot. Get it hot tonight. I'm gonna kick it off with a little precept because I like how it's worded. It's like 2 Maccabees chapter 5 and where it go? 26. So there's two things going on, but it's something I'm gonna point out in this verse. So 2 Maccabees chapter 5 and 26 says, and so he slew all them that were gone to the celebrating of the Sabbath, and running through the city with weapons slew great multitudes. So the first thing I want to point out is that today is the Sabbath, and it is a celebration. It's a high holy day. Officer Aharon, can you go to Leviticus chapter 23 and get that Sabbath for me? Shalom, shalom to everybody in the chat. Shalom, Officer Tahawam. We got Marquise. Hold on, Marcus? Khan, I think that's what it is. We got Quar. I can't really pronounce your names, Salakia, if I butchered that. But shalom, everybody, man. We finna open it up and get started. So I was grabbing this precept in 2 Maccabees, and it says, I just like how it's worded. It says they were celebrating the Sabbath. Celebrating the Sabbath. That put a smile on my face. So it's not a day where you got to be sad or mad or upset. You can celebrate. You should celebrate. Woo, that's fire. But the other part of it is terrible in the scripture. You got Antiochus, one of the men that was over the Seleucid Empire, and he was raising hell in Judea in Jerusalem at this time, and he was killing our people. I think around this time he killed so 2 Maccabees 5 and 14, it says, and there were destroyed within the space of three whole days 80,000, wherefore 40,000 were slain in conflict, and no fewer sold than slain. So this man, in a span of 3 days, he killed 40,000 Israelites. 40,000 Israelites. And then it says, no more was slain. Or excuse me, let me read that again. It says, and no fewer sold than slain. And when you look it up on the internet and everything, and you get into it and you actually do the research, 40,000 was killed, and then 40,000 was sold into slavery, man, in the span of 3 days. That's how quick everything can pop off. But real quick, go ahead and grab that, King.
God, this is Leviticus chapter 23, and I'm going to start at verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. And holy convocation, ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
It says an holy convocation. Holy convocation. That's so fire, man. It's a holy convocation. That means you're supposed to get together. And you know what Israelites do when they get together, man? They celebrate. So, what is it? Exodus 28:8.
Khan, Salakia, off some heart dropped out, but lesson ain't even started yet. We're just waiting for more people to get in. We're just waiting for them to come back. But like I said, the lesson has not started yet.
Khan, can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yep.
Khan, Shalom, Yadadaya, Soji Yadadaya, Shalom, Sin. I can't say your name, brother. FN. I'm gonna call you that. Shalom, man. So we're just cracking it open with a few preliminary precepts to kind of warm up y'all spirit. Sometimes you can't just bite into it if it's too hot. Got to blow it off. Get it kind of warm. So, all right, you got anything you want to pull out real quick before we jump into it?
We good.
God, let's go. First and foremost, we're gonna give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. Shabbat Shalom, Barakatah. Let's kick it off with that Sirach. Yeah, that thing right there. You know what I'm over?
You talking about that 44?
Khan.
This is Sirach chapter 44 and verse 1. It says, Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us.
It says, Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. So the moral, the synopsis of tonight's lesson is going to be over famous men in the scriptures. Because a righteous covet or a righteous desire is for us to be as noble or as honorable as our forefathers. So we're going to give praise when it's due, and it's well overdue. And it's really like a good meal tonight. It ain't nothing too deep. It's the Sabbath. On the Sabbath, I like to go over lessons that I enjoy teaching. And man, we just gonna have a ball tonight in righteousness. So you're gonna hear us cracking jokes. You're gonna hear us actually loving this, because this is what we love to do. You got anything, King?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading a little bit. It's just busting. Verse 2, Sirach 44 and 2, it says, The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. It says, Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels, and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people, wise and eloquent in their instructions, such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing. It says, Rich men flourished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. All these were honored in their generations, and were the glory of their times. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. And some there be which have no memorial, who are perished, as though they have never been, and are become as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. But these were merciful men, whose righteousness hath not been forgotten.
Woo!
That's hidden, ain't it?
That's hot.
That's hidden. It says, right? It says, with their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. It says their seed standeth fast, and their children for their sakes. Their seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out.
Woo! Lord willing, somebody's spirit is warming up. Because I know these precepts, but sometimes reading this still do the same thing for me. Right? Woo, that's busting. Hey, I want to get something in Romans. It just made me think of it. It's like Romans 14.
Shalom, I can read.
Okay. Kanak Shalom, Captain.
Yeah, Shalom, Cap.
Shalom.
I'm gonna grab this quick precept. I would have you get it, but I don't know it off the top, so I gotta grab it.
Yeah, just let me know.
All right, Khan. It's fired. It might be chapter 12. Let's see. Sheesh. Okay, it's somewhere right there. Khan. So it's Romans chapter 12. Man, this whole chapter is heat. I can't even cap. And sometimes I know the chapter real good, and I'll read it in like a different translation just to see, like, you know, it just help you sometimes. Even though I know what it's saying, like, just when you break it down, my dog, Salakia, when you break down certain scriptures, you know, sometimes going to a different translation, it'll like the words that they use be like fitting. So that's just like something that helped me, like, you know, be more like eloquent. But this is the verse, Romans chapter 12. And I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. It says, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. And this scripture, when I seen it, I'm just like, man, like, I got to stay on fire, man. Fervent in spirit. And sometimes just reading the accounts of your forefathers, the righteous things that they accomplished, the tribulations. I'm actually keep reading, man. Verse 12 says, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. That's fire. But sometimes when you just read it, even though you know it, you know exactly what happened. Just reading it, sometimes it just puts you, it just do something to your spirit, man. It actually bring you to life, quicken your spirit. You got anything, King? All right, Khan, Salakia. Woo! That's fire. So starting from Sirach chapter 44, and going all the way like closer to the end, I think like Sirach 49. You know, this is one of my favorite books in the Bible. But starting from chapter 44, it begins with let us now praise famous men and our forefathers that begot us and our fathers that begot us. It starts talking about, it goes through history. It goes through history, man. I think it kicks it off with Noah. Hey, just this chapter, it goes through Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then it just keeps going. It goes through Moses. It goes King David, Solomon. It goes through everybody. So we can't really do a thorough job and go through every one of these chapters how we would like in one sitting, because we'd be in here for a whole 10 hours. But we chose a chapter to go over, and I believe that chapter is 48. We selected chapter 48. So we're going to hop into it, man, without further ado. Let's go. All right, Khan. Captain DeBar, can you, unless Aharon got anything, could you kick off Sirach chapter 48 for us, Baba Kasha?
God.
Aharon, you got anything?
No, sir.
Khan, let's go.
Start at 1.
Baba Kasha.
God. So this is Sirach chapter 48 and 1. It says, then stood up Elias, the prophet, as fire, and his word burned like a lamp. He brought a sore famine upon them. By his zeal, he diminished their number.
Check
by
this
the
out. Salakia. I kind of want to touch on verse 2 a little bit. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 17. Put them up for me, Dr. Shah.
Salakia.
You good, King.
You said 1 Kings what?
17. Or actually, I'm gonna grab 1 Kings 16 and 30, and then whoever got 17 and 1 can bring that out. But real quick, 1 Kings chapter 16, verse 30 says, and Ahab, the son of Omri, did evil in the sight of the Lord above all that were before him. So you had a king, and he was just wicked. He was real wicked. Now we're gonna jump to 1 Kings 17. I wanted to get that because the verse talks about Ahab, and I wanted everybody to be aware of what's going on a little bit. So we can grab that, Abishai.
God, where you want to start at?
17 and 1.
God, this is 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 1. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was on the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word.
Hey, check that out. A lot of people would just read this and not know what just happened. Go back to Sirach 48 and 2.
God. Sirach chapter 48, verse 2. It says, he brought a sore famine upon them, by his zeal he diminished their number.
Now read 1 Kings 17 and 1 again, because I want everybody to see what's going on.
God. Verse 1. 1 Kings 17 and 1. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word.
This is the account where Elijah, he prophesied that it would be famine for some years. Now, let's keep the rest of the verse says, and by his zeal he diminished their number. Y'all know what that's going into? If not, I'm gonna go to it anyway. I'm gonna show y'all. Let's go to
I think it's a lot. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I want to see if you remember.
Are you talking about the fire coming down from heaven?
Con. But hold on, it's because it's two accounts of him bringing fire out from heaven. 2 Kings chapter 1 is when he bring it down. What was it, like captains of 50?
Whoa. We
You talking about
too ahead.
I know. We're gonna get the accounts, but this is a different account. That's why I was asking if y'all knew which account this was, because Captain DeBar, I know you remember this, because we was talking about this not too long ago. You remember? Go to 1 Kings 18 and 21. You know this. You probably know this precept off the top of the head.
God, this is 1 Kings chapter 18 and 21. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word.
Now, Elijah, I gotta jump back in history a little bit. So Ahab, he hits the scene, and it told you in 1 Kings 16 that he was wicked. He was more wicked than all the kings before him. Now, in the same chapter, I'm gonna jump down. 1 Kings 16 and 32 real quick. It says, and he reared up an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. So Ahab, he actually built up an altar for Baal in Samaria. That's part of his wickedness. So go to 1 Kings 18 and 19.
God. Verse 19, it says, now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table.
Hey, so what I wanted to grab this for is to show you that Elijah told him to call all Israel to Mount Carmel and the prophets of Baal, and he called 450 men. And off the top, a lot of people, this should start ringing the bell. Everybody should kind of know what's going on by now. But if not, I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis, and we're gonna keep pushing because I wanted to get back to Sirach. If I don't, then we're gonna be in this thing all night. It ain't no problem with me, but I know everybody attention span is kind of it ain't as strong. So the point is, in this chapter, Elijah was trying to persuade the Israelites to stop worshiping idols that Ahab he had set up. So what he did was he called the prophets of Baal, and he was like, look, if y'all go make an altar and have y'all God rain down fire. And he said, I can't remember exactly how long they was out there, but I remember they was out there for a long time and they couldn't get it done. God couldn't do it. Of course he can't do it because it's an idol. Everybody with me? Con. So Elijah came and it was his turn and he set up an altar. Hey, what'd he do? He put water on the altar to dry it up to make it harder to start a fire or to, I kind of want to read the account because I'm not going to do it justice. Can you kick it off at like 18 and 31, Baba Kashah King?
God. Verse 31. It says, and Elijah took 12 stones according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, unto whom the word of the Lord came, saying, Israel shall be thy name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord. And he made a trench about the altar as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces and laid him on the wood and said, fill barrels with water and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. And he said, do it the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, do it the third time. And they did it the third time. And the water ran about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water.
Hey, he really a G for this. Keep reading.
God. It says, and it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that thou art God in Israel, and that I am thy servant, and that I have done all these things at thy word.
He cold. Keep going.
God. Verse 37. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that thou art the Lord God, and that thou hast turned their heart back again.
Come on.
Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench.
G, that's a G right there. Just think about how cold Elijah is. He really the big bro. He said, look, mind you, it's just Elijah out there. And you got all the Israelites watching because he's trying to make a point. On top of this mountain, you got Israelites watching and you got prophets, so-called prophets of Baal watching. So-called prophets of Baal trying to make fire come out of heaven by an idol. They couldn't get the job done. And then he pours water on the altar, on the sacrifice, on the stones, on the wood, on everything. When something is wet, it's harder for it to catch fire. He making a point. He's just showing you how cold our God really is. Let's keep reading though. And look, it said it licked up the water, the stones, the wood, the sacrifice, everything was gone. Let's keep reading though, because this is kind of where I wanted to show you the point that it's talking about in Sirach. Let's keep reading, Baba Kashah.
God, verse 39. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, the Lord, he is the God. The Lord, he is the God. And Elijah said unto them, take the prophets of Baal, let not one of them escape. And they took them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon and slew them there.
He cold, bro. You cannot say he not cold for that. I could only hope to do something that's honorable and noble. He turned the people who was off in idolatry back to the Most High God, and in the midst of that, after that, he pulled fire out of heaven, and then he killed the enemies. Come on now,
400.
450. He said, "Go grab them." Hey, you remember when King David, he cut off Goliath's head and he was sporting it around the town? Well, come on now. Our forefathers too cold. Shalom Nazar, Shalom King. He said he was laughing at their gods, mocking it. Khan. So that's let's go back to Sirach before I jump into something else. Let's go back, zero back in real quick. Where was we at? Sirach 48 and 2.
It's 4. We had 4 now. We had 3. We had 3.
So like, yeah, I wanted to retouch on 2 just to show you that that's what it's talking about. And then we go to 3. So read 2 for me real quick. Sirach 48 and 2.
You there, Cap? Mark, can you hear him?
Nah, I can't hear him.
Right,
I'm okay. You got it.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
Sirach chapter 48, verse 2. It says, he brought a sore famine upon them, and by his zeal he diminished their number.
It says, by his zeal, he diminished their number. By how much he was chasing the Most High God and after the Most High God's heart, and he cared for his people, he diminished the number of the enemies. Verse 3. Shalom, Mike. You got two things in here. Say something real quick.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hold on.
Con.
I don't know why it's doing that.
All right. Let's keep pushing a little bit though. Verse 3.
Verse 3, it says, by the word of the Lord he shut up the heaven, and also 3 times brought down fire.
So we just got one account where he brought down fire. But where's the other accounts? Let's go ahead and grab that.
Kind. This is First Kings. I'm gonna start up somewhere.
2 Kings.
Salaki, yeah, 2 Kings, chapter 1. I'm gonna start at. You want me to start at 10 and get the point, or start up?
I got time. You got time?
I got time.
Let's get it in then.
All right, let me see.
Start at 1 and kind of, run through it.
I'll read quick. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria and was sick, and he sent messengers and said unto them, go inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, whether I should recover of this disease. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, is it not because there is not a God in Israel that ye go to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore thus saith the Lord, thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art going up, but shalt surely die. And Elijah departed. And when the messengers turned back unto him, he said unto them, why are ye now turned back? And they said unto him, there came a man up to meet us, and said unto us, go turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, thus saith the Lord, is it not because there is not a God in Israel that thou sendest to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And he said unto them, what manner of man was he which came up to meet you and told you these words?
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Captain DeBar. Hey, all I was gonna say is that wherever you see fit, King, likewise, Officer Aharon, wherever you see fit, you can elaborate on it. But Khan, it's back to you.
Khan, verse 8. And they answered him, he was an hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather round about his loins. And he said, it is Elijah the Tishbite. And the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50, and he went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of an hill, and he spake unto them, thou man of God, the king hath said, come down. So what's going on? The king is sent messengers to go inquire of another god. And Elijah got message from the Most High that says, is there not a God in Israel that thou goest to require, a God out of Israel, basically. So his messengers, the king's messengers came back unto him, and then the king didn't like it, so he sent, 50 to 100. He basically sent men after Elijah, and he said, come down. Verse 10. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. So Elijah, through his words, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, he just said, if I be a man of God, let fire come down and consume you and your 50. And surely enough, fire came down and consumed him and his 50. I got a quick precept. This is Jeremiah chapter 5 and 14. It says, wherefore thus saith the Lord God of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Now we know that there is a spiritual level to this, but right now it's being taken very literal.
God.
It's being literal. The Most High in his words literally devoured Elijah's enemies. That's how we are on the streets and the highways and byways. Our words devour our enemies. We don't do nothing but read the Bible, but yet Babylon is coming down. That's all we're doing. But let me keep going. Verse 11. Again, also he said, he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50, and he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus hath the king said, come down quickly. So the king sent another captain of 50 to go after Elijah. Verse 12, and Elijah answered and said unto them, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. So we see it here again, that fire came down from heaven. It came from the sky. That's all it's saying. It came from the sky. When you look up in the sky and you see, just blue, there's no clouds, you're like, it's just a regular day. But how the hell do you answer to just a fireball coming from the sky? How do you answer that? It's just a big flume of a fireball coming, and imagine the noise on that fire. Fire has a distinct noise. If you ever been camping, go ahead.
I was agreeing, it does.
If you ever been camping, it sounds like a big flag or something. When the fire is hot and it's getting big. Imagine the sound of that fire coming down. And all he said was, if I be a man of God, let fire come down and consume thee and thy 50. And then all you hear is just a whole plume of fire just come from the sky. Boom. Then it crashed. First off, this shows the amount of faith that Elijah had.
Can I go read that real quick?
Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 13 and 2. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. This man had enough faith to pull fire from heaven.
Literally.
Bro, he had enough faith to pull fire from heaven.
Literally.
Imagine saying, if I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven, and it don't happen. It's getting a little shaky.
It's getting shaky. It's like, damn, all right,
I'm a work.
You looking shaky. You're like a false prophet.
Hey, and you know what happens? Think about this, because I actually thought about trying this. I'm gonna be honest. Let's just be honest. I gotta be honest, right?
Yeah.
Not. The thought crossed my head, but the thought of it not happening scared me to death.
Exactly.
And I was like, if it don't happen, then my faith is going to get smaller and smaller every time. Because it's like, man, it didn't happen. Like, how do you strengthen that? How do you come back from that fall?
I feel that. But check this out, King. Check this out.
Okay.
Because I was real adamant about throwing my staff on the ground and it turned into a serpent. Same thing Aharon did in Egypt.
Okay.
And I had that same thought, but here's where we go off. What if it don't happen? That's already lacking faith. That's already doubt right there.
We finished right there, King.
We done. You know, there was no doubt when Elijah said that. There was no, damn, what if it don't happen? Nah, nigga, it's gonna happen. You know, same thing with the three holy children. He will deliver us out of thy hand. There wasn't a because trust me, I've had that same thought. Like, damn, I'm gonna throw my staff on the ground, it's gonna turn into a serpent. But now I was like, damn, well, what if it don't happen? And then right there, right soon as I even had that thought, that doubt crept in, and I know I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm not ready because I just doubted that quick.
Check this out.
Go ahead.
So it's obvious that brothers know scriptures, but it's a way different ball game when you're trying to apply scriptures to your actual life. James 1:5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavers like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. My point is, I know the scripture. I know it by heart. But applying this scripture, that's a different story. Where you don't waver at all. It gets to the point where you got so much faith you can actually move a mountain. That's what we're trying to get to. I'm trying to pull fire out of the sky like my forefathers. This is why we got to praise him, because, bro, how did you do that?
Right?
I need a tutorial, a step-by-step, so I can DIY.
Right? DIY.
But this is why we here, man. To salute our forefathers, because, damn, this nigga cold, bro. He cold.
No doubt at all. And it came down from heaven. And like that first example that you brought out, with him dealing with Baal's prophets.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't pull it out, but he like Soji Adadiah said he was mocking their prophets, and he was actually really mocking them. Like, you know, he said, "Is your God asleep? Is your God?"
Yeah, he did. I gotta go find that.
He was like, "Is your God asleep? Is your God, you know, off talking with someone? Or peradventure this, you know?"
Right. I gotta
niggas start going nuts.
I gotta read it. First Kings chapter 18, verse 27 says, "And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, Cry aloud, for he is a God. Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is in a journey, or peradventure he sleepeth and must be awake."
Right? Read the next verse. Read the next verse.
Verse 28. "And they cried aloud and cut themselves after their manner."
They started cutting they literally started crying aloud, cutting themselves, you know, crying out the name of their Lord and this, that, and the third, while Elijah over there mocking them and, like, you know, chilling. He know he got it in the bag.
Bruh, it says, "And they cried aloud and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lancets till the blood gushed out upon them."
Niggas was out there bugging. They was really bugging.
They was trying to make something shake, King.
They was trying to make something really shake. Meanwhile, Elijah know for a fact that he finna make this fire come down. Any other Jake, anybody else would have been like, you know, damn, I'm talking all this shit. I hope I can back it up. You know, they over there already doubting where Elijah never doubted. He just like, yeah, throw water on mine. You know what I'm saying? Throw water on the wood, and then, you know, I'm gonna quench it with this fire that's gonna rain down from heaven.
Right. Make it challenging. It's too easy.
It's too easy. This slight work. Is anything too hard for the Lord? Come on now.
Right.
This is easy.
Let's go.
But back in Sirach, it says, Sirach 48:3, it says, by the word of the Lord he shut up the heaven, and also 3 times brought down fire. So those are the 3 accounts that he brought down fire. He brought down fire in First Kings, dealing with Baal and his prophets, and then he brought down fire twice when he killed the captains in their 50s. So those are the 3 accounts that he brought down fire. Y'all should put that. You should put some precepts in your Bible with those accounts. With kind. Captain DeBar, you back? You say something?
Con, I'm here.
Con.
Hey, the bar. Can you grab Matthew 17 and 2? And could you read the next verse, Baba Kasha?
Con. This is Sirach 48 and verse 4. It says, "O Elias, how wast thou honored in thy wondrous deeds? And who may glory like unto thee? Who didst..."
Hold on.
Con.
So, what this is saying is fire, and we can skim over it. But he's so cold, I want to throw a precept on it. Let's get that in Matthew chapter 17. And you can start at Matthew 17 and 1, Captain the Bar, Baba Kasha.
God, this is Matthew 17 and 1. It says, "And after 6 days, Yahushua taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light." And
now keep going.
It says, "And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias talking with him."
Hold on, Nak. Yahushua is alive right now, walking the earth. Moses died in Deuteronomy. Elijah been dead. How are they appearing before Yahushua? What is really going on? Is this a dream? This is definitely got to be a dream or something, because something ain't adding up. These men are dead. Am I tripping right now? Tell me I'm tripping. Let's keep reading then.
Verse 4. "Then answered Peter and said unto Yahushua, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias." Salakia. "While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him."
Bruh, imagine this. Picture this. You on the mountain with Yahushua. All of a sudden, Yahushua starts shining. Raiment is stark, twinkling. All of a sudden, it's getting hot around her. The spirit is fervent. You look to the left and it's Moses. You look to the right, Elijah. How you get here? You never seen Elijah or Moses before, but somehow you know it's them.
Through the spirit.
You like, damn, it's mighty up here. Should I be here right now? You like, matter of fact, look, if it's good for y'all, I'll build an altar right now for each and one of y'all.
Right. He like, let me make a tabernacle so y'all can go in there and talk. Cause right now it's kind of weird out here, boss. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't know. Is it good for me to see this, King?
Right.
I know everything happens. Hey, man's goings is of the Lord, but come on now, King. This is all of a sudden. Yeah. You know, I sinned yesterday.
Right.
I don't know right now. I feel real. I'm getting nauseous.
Getting real iffy.
Right. Cuz over there shaking. You got top apostles out here, and they like, I don't know, King.
Bro, these ain't just regular everyday people. You got Moses, you got Elijah, and it's power. And then you got your Lord right there. Then you got Yahushua.
Bro, you got they Lord right there.
Right?
This is crazy.
Right? And they all just sitting there conversing. Imagine that fucking conversation. Excuse my language.
Yeah, nothing.
Right? Excuse my language, but imagine that conversation. Imagine how fire that is. I don't know if I would want to be there myself. I would ask, if I was Peter, I would have said the same thing. Lord, is it good for me to be here? Like, you know, you remember on the boat, I kind of doubted. You know, the scriptures say, "Damned is he that doubted." I don't know what's going on, Lord. I shouldn't be here. Then you got your house shot kind of saying, you know, it's cool, just relax. Let me talk real quick. You know what I mean? It's a grown-up conversation going on here. Not saying Peter wasn't grown. When you read on in the latter scriptures, Peter went so hard, people was just trying to touch his shadow just to get healed. They were trying to touch his shadow just to get healed. So Peter cold, but then you got Moses, then you got big bro Elijah, then you got our Lord. So it's like, damn, you know, I'm led to believe if anybody that say that they wanted to be there during that time, like to be in that conversation, I'm led to believe that they lying, because that's too much weight, that's too much wisdom, that's too much, that's a heavy burden to bear. Like, damn, I'm in the midst of y'all. I don't even want to think nothing wicked.
For real, I'm like, if Yahushua glance at me and he see anything in my spirit, I might wither away quick.
Right?
I might. Let me be cool. He over here sweating. Not to mention, verse 5, it says, "A bright cloud overshadowed them."
Bro, no. Oh, and then you got the Most High saying, "This is my son,
who I am well pleased with.
What?
Hear ye him.
Come on.
Hey, just imagine looking up. You like, damn, I didn't even hear it pull up.
When this get here, ain't it night? What's going on?
Hey, it's daytime. How is this brighter than the sun? This is
this is getting weird.
This is tough, King. Yo, verse 6 though. It says, Captain DeBar, can you grab that, King? You still here?
Yeah, I'm still. Verse 6, it says, and when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. It says, and Yahweh, verse 7, and Yahushua came and touched them and said, arise and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man, save Yahushua only.
Bro, you got this cracking off. The picture has been painted. You immediately drop down to your all fours.
Right.
You put your head down. You don't even want to look up. It's crazy over here. Yahushua, your Lord, come and say, arise, be not afraid, and he touch you. Like, you good, King, get up.
He said, you good, King, come on, let's go.
You get up. Only 5 seconds went by, King. You get up, and these niggas is gone. The cloud gone. You didn't even hear it take off.
Nope.
I would be like, I would be happy. I would be happy because, you know, it's like, I can breathe now. But at the same time, it's like, dang, I could have died.
Right.
Like, dang, niggas really got a lot of power around here.
Niggas got heavy spirit around here. Spirit, like, crazy.
And he like, you feel that? The spirit crazy. Like, let's keep reading.
Hey, hold on. Salakia. I'm kind of looking in the chat. When Mahar said Elijah been dead, he didn't mean he was literally dead. Elijah and Mahar know Elijah got beamed up in a chair. We know that.
Who said that? So like, that's a good catch though, because I remember saying that.
You know, we were like that.
Oh, Salakia, King. Salakia. We're gonna get there through the precepts. Salakia Nazar. He ain't died. But he was gone.
He was definitely gone, but he didn't die.
Cuz was chilling in the third heavens.
He's in the third heavens.
What is he doing here?
Right.
All right, let's keep reading. Really?
You want to continue on this, Matthew?
Yeah, let's keep going a little bit.
All right, Con. So verse 9, Matthew chapter 17 and 9. And as they came down from the mountain, Yahushua charged them, saying, tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead.
God. And after all of this happened, and you know how, what does it say? A talebearer separateth the chiefest of friends. Yahushua charged them and was like, hey, keep this on the low. Imagine your Lord saying, hey, keep this on the low, for real though.
Hey, charge is another word for command too.
For real though.
Nigga better not make a peep.
Imagine what happened to him if he do though. That's crazy.
After seeing that, I think niggas would be too scared to even say anything because
Oh yeah.
it said that the chariot pulled up, Most High in there. You got Moses, Elijah, and it said that the disciples were sore afraid. You know, and it said that they was on their face, like
Yeah.
they're in a bowing position, like I can die if I get up right now. Let me not move. I heard and I seen Elijah and Moses. I don't know what the hell they doing here. That's none of my business, you know. I read in Sirach, it says, you know, meddle not with things too high for thee. I'm not finna do that.
Hey,
So let me stay down.
Another one says, meddle not with many matters, for one, thou shalt not go unpunished, or something like that.
God.
But imagine being like, yo, I seen Moses and Elijah, and I was with Yahushua at the same time. You know how far-fetched that is? I'm not believing no nigga who say that.
He said,
Niggas
right?
he gonna get stoned for speaking blasphemy, first off.
Right?
And let's say that the dude did believe him. All of a sudden, another bright cloud appear, and the angel just say, "Come with me."
Hell no, a spear come out the chariot, quick, and I'm like, shoot, he just die. Like, damn.
Oh man, he show up and be like, "Be not afraid. We just gotta talk." No,
Yeah.
no, I just want to talk.
Just holler at me, King. Just holler at me, King. I seen you been fasting. I like that. Just holler at me.
Hey, just come over here. Come over. You wanna hop in my chariot? It's cool over here.
They could take him to the back alley and dirt him.
Hey, you know how Moses buried the Egyptian soldier?
Yeah.
The next one and shit.
Nigga look left and right.
Right.
But that go hard.
All right, back to Sirach.
That's definitely one of my.
All right, so you done with the Matthew?
One of my.
Yeah,
favorites.
I'm done with it, King.
All right, gone. So Sirach 48.
48 verse 5, King.
Gone. So this is Sirach chapter 48, verse 5. It says, "Who didst raise up a dead man from death, and his soul from the place of the dead by the word of the Most High?"
Wait, what? What just happened? It says, he raised up a dead man from death, and his soul from the place of the dead by the word of the Most High. What is going on right here, bro? I'm confused. I thought when you die, you dead. But when you got like so much spirit, hey, what did it say about Yahushua, about his spirit? And John,
unmeasurable, I believe, something like that.
I gotta grab that. And you know where that precept is in 2 Kings? I think it's like chapter 4. I want to grab this one about Yahushua though.
You talking about Elijah?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, because 2 Kings, man. Let me see.
Because what I put in my Bible is like 2 Kings 4 and 32.
Okay.
Man, I'm so upset that I ain't memorized the scripture about. I feel like it's John 3. That's kind of hitting my spirit. Nazar said, "Elo, y'all make that entertain and call out y'all." Hey, every time you studying and you getting a word, it ain't gotta be like you at school and you there for 8 hours and you trying to get out of there. You know, you can have fun, get it in. Okay, I want John 3 and 34. John 3 and 34 says, "For he whom God have sent speaketh the words of God." And we already know that this is talking about Yahushua. He whom God have sent speaketh the words of God, because Yahushua, he spoke the words of God. Everybody should understand that. It says, "For God giveth not the spirit by measure unto him."
There you go.
So every man, especially the children of God, the Israelites, the elect men and women, that the Most High God actually chose and put them out of the world, they have the Spirit of God. They was brought to life, and you know who you are now. You have the Spirit of God. but it's only so much of his spirit that he actually poured in your vessel. It's only so much. Like he probably gave you. I don't know the measurements.
Right.
Let's just put a measurement on it. He gave this man 30 spirit. He gave this man 60 spirit, and he gives another man 100 spirit. And we like, dang, this brother with 100 spirit, he cold. He got to be a prophet, like a prophet of old. Like this brother is cold. He's so strong in the truth. He gifted. You can tell that the Most High God is dealing with him. But it said he did. I got to read again. For God giveth not the spirit by measure unto him. So Yahweh's spirit, you cannot measure it. It's unmeasurable. The Most High God gave it all to him. You can't measure it. It's without measure. It's just that much. You can't say Yahweh got 100 spirit. He said it's without measure. Just that's crazy to me. But think about how much spirit Elijah was working with to pull fire from heaven. It just said he brought somebody from the dead. Let's
Right.
get that. Let's get that.
And it's not like other men where they got like, one account of them doing something great and they live off that account. No. This nigga has done multiple things. But this is 1 Kings 17:17. Says, and it came to pass after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and his sickness was sore, that there was no breath left in him. And she said unto Elijah, what have I to do with thee, O thou man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sin to remembrance and to slay my son? So Salakia, like back then, it was a fearful thing to be around prophets sometimes. They'll be like, are you for our good? Are you for our bad? What are you doing here? What do we have to do with you?
Peacefully?
Yeah, have thou comest out peacefully? Why are you here? It wasn't really, to some people it was a good thing, to some people it was a bad thing. Like, damn, why are you here? Just like this lady said. She said, art thou come to call my sin to remembrance? Like, and she knew, like she said, oh thou man of God.
Right.
What are you doing here? But that's not what he was there for. Verse 19, it says, and he said unto her, give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom and carried him up into a loft, where he abode, and laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, hast thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourned by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. And the Lord heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived. When it says he revived, that means he came back to life. His soul was given back to him. The spirit was given back to the little boy, and he came back to life. Why? Because Elijah asked for it. He asked undoubtingly. He was like, Lord, can you, bring this child's soul back? He came with a contrite spirit. He came in a humble, honest spirit. Like, Lord, please, I didn't know this was gonna happen. Can you please get this child's soul back? And guess what? Most High, he heard it. He got word from an angel, probably. This is what Elijah asked for. So. What you want me to do? And then Most High sent him back with his spirit, and bam, he came back to life.
Quick precept.
Go ahead.
Matthew and Slakia, the precept that I quoted was talking about Elisha.
Yeah, I know. I already got it.
All right, so Matthew 21 and 22. Matthew 21 and 22 says, in all things whatsoever ye ask and prayer, believing ye shall receive.
Yep.
That man cool. All right, we can keep pushing though.
Hey, like Yahweh said, he said, if ye being evil know how to give good gifts, how much the Father? Your son asks you for bread, are you going to give him a rock? No. He going to give you what you ask for. But get back to it.
So this is Sirach 48, and I'm gonna read 5 again. It says, who didst raise up a dead man from death, and his soul from the place of the dead, by the word of the Most High, who brought his kings to destruction and honorable men from their bed, who heardest the rebuke of the Lord in Sinai, and in Horeb the judgment of vengeance, who anointed kings to take revenge and prophets to succeed after him.
Ugh. Hey,
Salakia.
verse 8.
Salakia.
Verse 8, I kind of want to touch on that.
Con-
You got it. You got it.
Salakia. I don't want to touch on. I don't want to touch on verse 8. I want to touch on one that's quick. Verse 5 again. Salakia, it says, "Who did us raise up a dead man from his death, and his soul from the place of dead by the word of the Most High." This is Psalms 119 and 50. It says, "This is my comfort in my affliction, for thy word hath quickeneth me," or hath quickened me. When you're dealing with the word quicken, it means to bring life, to bring spirit, come back again type deal. You know, Khan. Just want to throw a quick precept on that. You got it.
Khan. It's more that we could touch on. It's a lot of meat that we just read, but I'm kind of ready to start talking about Elisha. It says, "Who anointest kings to take revenge and prophets to succeed after him." Everybody should know that account. Let's read verse 9.
God. Verse 9, it says, "Who was taken up in a whirlwind of fire, and in a chariot of fiery horses, who was ordained." God.
It says, "Who was taken up in the whirlwind of fire, and in a chariot of fiery horses." There's so much meat in here. All right, Kyle, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 2. Man, actually, yeah, we're gonna stay right here in 2 Kings chapter 2, but we're not gonna grab it yet because we got to keep reading this Sirach. I don't want to spoil it.
So keep reading.
Khan.
Yeah. This is first Sirach 48 and
10.
10. "Who was ordained for reproofs in their times, to pacify the wrath of the Lord's judgment before it break forth into fury, and to turn the heart of the father unto the son, and to restore the tribes of Jacob. Blessed are they that saw thee and slept in love, for we shall surely live. Elias it was, who was covered with a whirlwind. Eliseus was filled with his spirit while he lived. He was not moved with the presence of any prince, neither could any bring him into subjection."
Whew. Okay, hold on, man. I don't even know exactly where I want to start. It's so fire though. Aharon, what you think about we touch on the 2 Kings, basically when Elijah passed the torch to Elisha, and then we go back up to verse 10 to touch on that in Malachi.
Yeah, we can.
All right, Khan. So verse 12 in Sirach chapter 48 says, "Elijah it was who was covered with a whirlwind, and Elisha was filled with his spirit whilst he lived. He was not moved with the presence of any prince, neither could any bring him into subjection." Let's get it. So 2 Kings chapter 2, and I think I want to start at like verse 9, man. Verse 9. And I'll read actually.
Yeah, I'm already here.
All right, Khan, you got it.
God, 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 9. It says, "And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, Ask what I shall do for thee before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me."
He said, "Let what?"
A double portion of thy spirit be upon me.
So Elijah, he already know that he's finna be taken away by a chariot of the Most High God. Hey, Aharon, ain't it a precept in Jude that you is that, or is that Elisha? It's a precept you always pull out in Jude. Could you check that out? I think I might want it. I don't know yet. But Elijah is finna be taken away by a chariot to the Most High God. And he was like talking to Elisha, you know, little bro, he said, ask whatever you want, I give it to you. He said a double portion of your spirit. You know, most people ask for something, you know, some crazy, you know, like money, or, you know, can I get your land, or you know,
You know that, you know, your favorite shirt. Can I get that when you leave? Like, you know, how you want me to deal with that?
right? Yo, I know, like, you got a daughter, you know, like,
He said, you know, like,
can I keep that or no? But Ox said, I want a double portion of your spirit. I wouldn't even think to ask nobody that. Let me get some of your spirit. I already know about what you did. You want to bring fire from heaven? Yeah, I need some of your spirit, King.
Salakia.
Khan.
How would you even reply to that? Like, nigga, I've never been dead before. I don't know how I can just give you some of my spirit first off.
That's
But that lets you know how spiritual we were back then. Elijah could do it. He was like, yeah, I'll give you some. You know? Like, bro, if you ask me for a double portion of my spirit before I died, I'd be like, yo, I ain't even gonna fake it with you. I don't know. I don't think I can do that.
It's not my spirit to give, King.
Yeah. I can't do that, bro. Why would you even? That would low-key make me mad. I'd be like, bro, why would you even ask that? I can't do it. But Elijah was cold. Elijah had it on him. He had that bag on him. Go ahead.
Hey, verse 10, Captain.
God, verse 10, it says, Salakia, verse 10, and he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless,
he said, you asking for a lot right now. Nevertheless, like, but good news. Keep reading.
God, nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so.
So you're like, look, I'm gonna keep it G real with you. If you can see me when I get taken up into the chariot, then I got you. But if not, King, you on your own.
Right.
Figure
You got
it
what
out.
I taught you. You got that.
Right. I imparted. Look, bro, I be with you a lot. You should be good. You know, figure it out.
Really.
Verse 11.
God, verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
Salakia. So it said, and it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, just imagine it. I like really painting them pictures and like trying to see, you know, they probably walking somewhere. It's probably mountains around. You know, it could be anywhere. They chopping it up. It's probably something deep. It's probably kind of sad though. Elijah probably trying to, you know, like keep his spirit up, because you know Elijah leaving Earth, bro. And Elisha look up to Elijah, but he probably like, you know, like keep your head up, bro. You're gonna be all right, like for real. Like, you know, God got you no matter what. Yeah. He gonna fight for you. They gonna flee 7 ways, King. You believe that, right? You know, and he probably broke him off a little bit of, you know, prophecy, like, yeah, this got to happen this way because, you know, this is what it's going to look like. And then it said, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire. Now, people who don't really study the Bible, they get lost in the sauce right there. Hold on. A chariot, fire. Hey, have anybody watched Hunger Games?
Yeah, I watched that with my mama back then.
Hey, like, you know, the little president, what's his name? Snow? Is that his name?
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about.
Anyways, they getting ready for the Hunger Games. And you know how she's the girl on fire and she got that dress that's on fire?
Yep.
She's in a chariot.
Yeah.
And them horses is pulling her chariot. And I believe that the chariot actually catches on fire.
Yeah.
Jake, people who don't read the Bible probably like thinking about the Hunger Games, like, dang, that's crazy. You know, a chariot on fire. That is pretty cool. No, King, that's not what it's talking about. And then it says, and the horses of fire. They probably like, dang, like the horses on fire, the chariots. This is kind of crazy. Like, this is dope. Like, I like this story, not knowing that that's a code word for something else. Hey, get me Psalms 104, and I want like verse 2 or 3, and then I'm gonna grab this precept in Acts that I like a lot. I'm only gonna grab a few. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it.
Con, I grabbed Psalms 104.
Okay, Con.
This is Psalms chapter 104 in verse 3. It says, "Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind." It says, so like, yeah.
I think I just want that part. It says, what did it say? Salakia King. Can you read that part again?
Yeah, I'm reading the next one too because it's blessing.
Okay,
but it
Con.
says, "Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots."
He maketh the clouds his chariots. Why is chariots and clouds being used like that? It got to be something else that people don't know about. But let's keep reading.
God, it says, "Who walketh upon the wings of the wind." It says, "Who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers of flaming fire."
It says his ministers, his angels, a flaming fire. A flaming fire. Now, King, give me drop down to verse 20. Did you drop it already? I think that's what I want.
Nah. Verse
Okay.
20?
Yeah, try verse 20. That might not be it. I heard it in your voice. Try 103 and 20. That might be it.
103. Yeah. This Psalms 103 and 20 says, "Bless the Lord, ye his angels that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word."
Con. So I wanted to pull this out real quick since we already in Psalms. It says that his angels, they like flames of fire. Them angels and kings all throughout the Bible are referred to as horses. Now you have to understand what a horse actually did, what a horse is good at, the strengths and the weaknesses of a horse. Now, a horse was a really, really, really a major thing in the ancient days.
Yep.
Horses will first and foremost, they'll get you to where you need to go. You see what I'm saying? But what horses really, really is describing right now, strength. They like cars. What do they call it? Whenever a car is like real fast, this is how much horsepower it has. It represents strength. Horses in the ancient days represent strength also. Yeah. Why? The speed. The battle is way different if it's me and another man fighting on feet. But imagine this man fighting on his feet and I'm on a horse. Now imagine the height advantage I have, the speed I have. I can see the whole battlefield going on. And imagine my weapons that I have alongside with being on top of this horse. It represents strength. I would rather have 100 men or 100 soldiers with horses than 100 men on feet, because they have they have the advantage, period, point blank. It's a lot of things that go into that. But overall, without me getting too deep, horse represents strength. Now read Psalms 103 and 20 again, Baba Kasha.
God, this Psalms 103. So go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I got a precept back to you.
Okay.
Or I can pull it right now if you want.
Yeah, pull it out.
God, this is Psalms 68 and 17. Psalm 68 and 17, it says, "The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord among them as in Sinai in the holy place." So that's just a precept to bag you up.
Yeah, you can touch on that.
Right. So, like the brother said, the chariots of God is symbolic for the horsepower, the speed, and it goes into it actually being the angels of the Most High God. It's really, this is really simple, plain cut.
Come. Hey, but when you try and tell Jake that UFOs is in the Bible, that might go over a lot of people's head. They might be like, all right, y'all niggas is tripping.
Really?
So I try and take my time and actually explain it, as best as I can, And Lord willing, it makes sense. Because when I first heard this, I was like, damn, that make perfect sense. But it's not gonna be like that for everybody.
Yo,
So
Salakia, can I add real quick?
yeah,
Salakia.
of course.
When I first came into the truth, that's all this nigga taught me was chariots and horses. I was not ready. It was bugging me out. I'm like, yo, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like Officer Mahar, the one that brought me in the truth. When he was like bringing me in and he was talking about chariots, I was so confused. I didn't get it. I'm like, yeah, that's busting. But I didn't know what was going on. I really did. I just wanted to add.
Oh man. Yeah. I should have been giving Jake the sincere milk of the word. I was thinking you were on some meat. Cause like 2 days in the truth, and I'm like, yeah, it's time. You ready? Really? He not even fully persuaded he an Israelite yet, and I'm like, yeah. So UFOs, they in the game.
That's what you need to know.
You need to take a deeper look into this, for real. Like now,
Really,
salvation, like for real, chariots, UFOs in the Bible. Don't miss this.
time is up, King.
Don't put it off. All right, so we showed you in Psalms 103 and 20 that the angels, they excel in strength. Likewise, horses, they excel in strength. So a code word for a horse, or excuse me, a code word for an angel is a horse, if you got ears to hear, right? Now a code word for UFO in the Bible is chariot. It's chariot. Now you have to think about this. Anytime you see a chariot, you see what? A horse. The only way the chariot can move is if the horse pulls it. Now, the only way these chariots move is if what? The angels drive it. That's the only way. Now, give me Acts chapter 1, and I think I want to start like verse 6.
Can I grab it?
Okay, the water. I like this precept so much whenever I'm breaking down chariots and horses. Really, chariots. It's so fire. It's clear. It makes sense.
1 and 6, you said?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you read down after that.
Okay, kind. This is Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, and when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the time or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power, but ye shall receive power after the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost parts of the earth.
Hey, so the apostles is like, oh, you have a shot. Okay, so it's time. It's time, right? The kingdom, cool, perfect. But he like, look, it's not time. You're gonna get the Holy Spirit though, and I need you to be a witness for me and what you've seen. I need this to be preached. Then the end gonna come. Let's keep reading.
Verse 9. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
Hold on. It says, and while he was speaking these things, it says, while they beheld, meaning while they was looking, he was taken up. He was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Now, you have to understand, chariots, clouds are the same thing. Can you go back to one of those precepts we just grabbed that said cloud? What was it? Psalms 104 and 3?
I think so.
All right, I want to grab that one more time.
It's Psalms 104 and verse 3. It says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots.
It says he makes the clouds his chariot. He makes the clouds his chariots. When you see a cloud, that's where them chariots be at, in the sky, in the heavens. It ain't Don't get too deep. He makes the clouds his chariots. So going back to Acts 1 and 9, it says, and when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. He went into the sky, and this nigga was in a cloud. Salakia, I can't say the N word and be talking about Yahweh Shai in the same sentence. Forgive me on that. Man, Salakia. But Yahweh Shai was taken up in a chariot while the disciples seen him. Verse 10 says, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. Now, I already made this statement. Whenever you see a cloud, whenever you see a chariot or a UFO, it's always an angel somewhere close. So while they looking up, not even knowing, it's two angels next to them in white. Right? Because it told you in Ezekiel, I'm going to grab it real quick. Ezekiel chapter 1.
Man, I was just looking at Ezekiel chapter 1.
Oh, you got it? Bring that out.
The will?
Yeah, I want the part where it says wherever their spirit was to go.
Oh, okay. I think it's in
I won't start at verse 19.
Okay. Verse 19. It says, and when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them.
Now you have to understand right now it's describing what's going on. When it says wheel, it's talking about a UFO. Because when you really look at a UFO, it looks flat and it looks like a circle. It looked like a wheel. It looked like the wheel that be on a chariot, an actual chariot. You get where I'm going? So it's describing it. If you read up, it tells you it looked like a wheel inside of a wheel with lights all around it. That's a UFO, bro. I don't know. Hey, think about how good. I want to take a step back and take a quick breather. Think about this. Everybody should be able to relate to this. Ezekiel did a beautiful job with what he had.
Yeah.
Think about describing something that doesn't have a name, or trying to describe something. Hey, try and describe a laptop without saying laptop or saying screen or LED or buttons. Describe it in the ancient world. I would be like, it was like a mirror with fire.
Hey, you see it with this brother said a mirror with fire. That's funny.
I'm for real. That's as best as I got.
A device with the sun in it.
Really, bro. And I would be like, dang, he's spitting. That kind of makes sense. I had to really get in the zone though. What else come with it?
But same way, like when you read in 2nd Ezra 14, he described paper as box trees.
Come on now. Describe paper as box trees. Hey, how they describe a helicopter in the Bible?
Wasn't it a locust, I think?
He said a locust. He did good. He did good. I'm gonna be honest. He did good.
He did great.
He did a good job, man. Working with what I got. Nazar, we read Ezekiel 1 and we had 19. Read it again, Baba Kasha.
God, it says, and when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up.
Come on.
Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels.
It says, wherever the spirit was to go, the wheels went. Wherever the wheels went, the spirit was close. Then it says, for the spirit of the angels was in the UFOs. You know how Jake, he got his keys. He loses keys sometimes. The whole time he was looking for it, it was in his pocket. He's like, man, that's cool. I'm going to go to my car and I'm going to start it up. And he got to wait till the AC cool up. He got to fill up on gas. Hey, Jake might even have a little money and he got the push button start. And we low-key cool with that. No. Angels are actually driving UFOs with a spirit. with a mind. Like, yeah, slow down right there. And they ain't even got to say it, and it slow down. Like, yeah. Hey, they throw it in park, and they hop out, and now right next to you. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go get his prayers. Gotta go take those to the Lord at 3. I'll be right back. Think about that. The chariot just hovering right there. And park.
Hey, Salakia. Hey, and when you read verse 9 too in Ezekiel 1, it talks about like how I'm gonna just read it. It says their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward. So they ain't gotta do a damn vertical turn and try to bag up and then have to cut the corner a little bit. They ain't gotta do none of that, bro.
Right. Hey, you know how when you going on the highway and it's kind of like a curve, you kind of got to hit the brake a little bit. You might slip. Nah, that's not the case. Not the case. Hey, they could do a whole 180. That's crazy. Hey, look at verse 14. It says, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. You know, everybody knows about the superhero Flash and how fast he was and the great things that he could do. I think Abba said Flash, if he could run the opposite way of the direction that the earth was rotating and he could turn back time.
Yep.
He a nerd, he a geek. If he's watching this, I love you, King. God, he be putting me up on all the game. But angels actually are moving this fast. You know how when you light a lighter and the flame don't hit and you got to do it a few times, but you see the little spark come out? That's how fast they're moving. That's them. That's crazy. I'm like, what? And that's not the only account of that. Hey, go to Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 7 real quick.
Salakia, I got a quick precept. This is Nahum chapter 2 and verse 3. It says the shield of his mighty men is made red, the valiant men are in scarlet, the chariot shall be with flaming torches in the day of his preparation, and the fir trees shall be terribly shaken. It says the chariots shall rage in the streets, they shall jostle one against another in the broad ways, they shall seem like torches, they shall run like the lightnings. Just basically like you said, just like Ezekiel said, it looked like lightning and like sparks, and it's saying what it's saying, King.
Hey, I was just about to go there too. That's crazy. I was literally going there right now. I'm in Amos right now, literally.
You got anything to add? You can touch on it too.
Nah. But I got the Wisdom of Solomon though.
Time, bring it out real quick.
So this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 7. It says, in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among stubble.
It says, in the time of their visitation, they shall run to and fro like sparks among stubble. You know, whenever you're trying to start a campfire, that thing you didn't have gas, you ain't had the what is it, the privilege or this technology, and you got charcoal and all of this. You got a bag of charcoal and you just bought it for $15. No, they had to get it in. They went and got the dry wood. Before that, to even get the dry wood started, you got to have a stubble, like the hay, like the real, it's going to catch flame quick. And you know, when you throw that little spark on there, it catches that on fire. That's how we're going to be moving around the earth. He's actually going to get at to us. All we got to do is hold it down. Hold it down. All we got to do is be loyal.
Right.
Be faithful. Hey, what DJ Khaled be saying? Don't he be saying that? You're loyal.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations. You played yourself. Hey, Lord willing, though, all the Akim and all the Aquas that's on here, they get a taste of the Most High God's glory, man. That's so fire. That's so fire. Woo! Let's go. Con. All right. So Y'all got anything else y'all want to pull out before we jump back? Because we still in 2 Kings, Salakia, man.
We still on Elijah.
Yeah, man, Salakia. All right. We 2 Kings chapter 2. We got to change gears. We're going to try to, because really, man, look, man, we're going to go off the spirit. Let's see.
We at hour and 30 in on verse 10.
Let's go.
So you mean read 10 again?
We had 2 Kings chapter 2
okay. 2 Kings.
and verse 11.
God. 2 Kings chapter 2 and 11. It said, and it came to pass as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. Salakia. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
So while they was talking, you got angels and you got UFOs pulling up, and they separated Elijah and Elisha, and then Elijah went up by a whirlwind into the heaven. Let's keep reading.
God. Elijah saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of him.
Now that we got the understanding of what a chariot is and what a horse is, it should make sense when you read the story. Read that again.
God. And Elisha saw it and cried, my father. Or you even start at 11.
No, you good right there.
God. It says, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in 2 pieces.
I gotta say something too. If people think that this is actually a chariot and think that this is actually a horse, of course, Elijah, it wouldn't be a great thing. Why would Elijah even be like, look, if you see me depart into heaven, then you can get my double portion? Like, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't fit with the narrative of the story on it being a big deal. Like, of course you'll see me. And let's be honest, an actual horse and an actual chariot is not going to get Elijah into heaven. So something ain't adding up.
Hey,
go ahead.
they thinking about Greek mythology, thinking about Pegasus and whatnot.
Right.
This ain't that.
This is not that.
Hey, it say in verse 11, Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
Right. Horses don't go up.
Right. Verse 13.
Con.
It says he took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan.
Hey, so look, they got separated. Like, he took his clothes and he went back to the Jordan. Let's keep going, King.
God. It says, and he, Salakia, verse 14, and he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him and smote the waters and said, where is the Lord God of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither, and Elisha went over.
Think about this. So I've never really paid attention to where they actually was until just now. I just now caught it. They was by the Jordan River, you know. He went back to the Jordan. He said, where is the God of Elijah? And then he hit the water with that mantle, and then the waters parted. That is crazy.
I haven't just paid attention to that. That just hit me, and I'm like, damn, that's fire.
Bro, he parted the Jordan River. Bruh, he parted the Jordan.
Hey, remember, Elijah parted it so they can get over, and he parted it on the way back. That's why he asked that.
Bruh, that is crazy.
So much spirit.
He wasn't even trying to, or what?
What, parted? Yeah, so he can get back over.
Dang. I thought he did it because he was just angry.
That's where my head was at. I'm like, he was upset.
A little bit before Elijah, he parted it. It said he wrapped his mantle up, and he smote the water, and it went hither and thither. And they crossed over.
Yeah, like verse 8, that's what it say. And Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together, and they smote the waters, and they were divided thither and thither, so that they two went over on dry. So he's just parting rivers.
Right.
Like, bro, this is crazy. Like, yeah, man, we ain't got no boat.
It's all good, King. Watch this.
Yeah,
Nigga just hitting water. That's crazy.
that's a lot of spirit going around. So Cuz got his mantle. All right, let's keep going. I think that's all I want, really, right?
It should be.
15 fire, 15 fire.
I know the rest goes into the men try to go look for Elijah.
Read verse 15 for me, Baba Kasha.
God, it says, and when the sons of the prophets which were to view at Jericho saw him, they said, the spirit of Elijah doth rest on Elisha. And they came to meet him and bowed themselves to the ground before him.
They was like, yeah, Elijah's spirit definitely on you right now, King. I can feel it.
Really?
You don't feel that?
It's the same spirit as Elijah, man.
That's crazy. That's fire. All right, so going back to Sirach,
Okay.
Come on.
it says, verse 12 says, Elijah it was who covered with a whirl, who covered with a whirlwind, and Elisha was filled with the spirit. Whilst he lived, he was not moved with the presence of any prince, neither could any bring him into subjection. Now, I did say I was going to jump up to verse 10 real quick, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase it because I kind of want to start moving. Sirach chapter 48 and 10 says, who was ordained for the reproofs and their times to pacify the wrath of the Lord's judgment. And that's what Elijah did. He pacified the wrath that was really supposed to be for the nation of Israel, like them worshiping other gods and going into idolatry. Elijah brung everybody back home. He was like, okay. And you remember the whole situation with the altars and stuff, and him pulling down fire. They was like, okay, well, we need to come back to the God of Israel. He the real God. You know, he pacified the wrath of the Most High God. You know, so I'm gonna keep going too because it's a little bit deeper. It says to pacify the wrath of the Lord's judgment before it break forth into fury, and to turn the heart of the father unto the son, and to restore the tribes of Jacob. So that's what he did. Now you got to understand what it says in Malachi like 4 and 5. I grab it real quick. I'm gonna try and be fast. It's been a minute, man. Let's see. Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5 says, Malachi 4 and 5 says, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So Elijah already dead at this time, but he's saying, look, I'm going to send Elijah again, and he is going to bring the children back to the father. Now, if you know, we read Matthew chapter 17, where Moses and Elijah pulled up on Yahushua. In that same chapter in Matthew chapter 17, Yahushua, he said it out of his own mouth. He said, hey, Elijah already hit the scene, but y'all ain't really know. Who he was talking about was John. And he tells you that in the same chapter. You know, so John actually paved the way for Yahushua. You remember, because John the Baptist, he was baptizing people and bringing them back to the fold, kind of. Like John the Baptist said out of his own mouth, what? There's going to be somebody after me whose shoes I am not worthy to latch it. And he's going to really baptize you with the real water and what he say, and with fire. You know, so Elijah is actually a big deal. He plays a big role in this thing, man. You know, he making guest appearances all throughout the Bible. But I'm not going to get too deep in that. I did paraphrase it. I'll tell you the sources again. Matthew chapter 17 is where Yahushua, and there's other accounts too, but that's the one I know off memory. Matthew 17, he tells you that Elijah was John the Baptist, or John the Baptist was Elijah, vice versa. And then I went to Malachi 4 and 5 to show you that before judgment comes, Elijah had to hit the earth again to bring the children back to the Father. Right. So Officer Aharon and Captain DeBar, did y'all want to elaborate on anything?
La.
If you read throughout the Gospels, you'll see a bunch of similarities between John the Baptist and Elijah, and they'll throw precepts by it. So kind of it's pretty easy to understand if you got the Spirit with you.
Con. All right, let's keep going. Let's go. So Sirach chapter 48 and 13.
God. Sirach Salakia. Sirach 48 and 13. It says, no word could overcome him, and after his death, his body prophesied.
Aharon, I know you like this part. I'm gonna let you get it.
Con. So let's turn to 2 Kings chapter 13. 2 Kings chapter 13, because it says something real crazy right here.
Let's go.
It says, after his death, his body prophesied. You probably like, what? What do you mean? I don't get it. What do you mean his body prophesied?
Hey, can I read?
Go ahead.
All right, where we at?
2 Kings 13 and 14.
All right, 13 and 14. It says, now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died.
Now take account. He's dead right now. It says he falls sick of his sickness and he died. Go ahead.
And Joash, the king of Israel, came down unto him and wept over his face and said, O my father, the chariot of Israel and the horsemen thereof. And Elisha said unto him,
Whoa, wait. Elisha's dead. And Joash the king went down to him and said, oh, my father, the chariot of Israel, so on and so forth. And then it says, and Elisha said unto him. Elisha's dead. But what did Elisha say unto him?
And Elisha said unto him, take bow and arrows. And he took unto him bow and arrows. And he said to the king of Israel, put thine hand upon the bow. And he put his hand upon it. And Elisha put his hands upon the king's hands. And he said, open the window eastward. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, shoot. And he shot. And he said, the arrow of the Lord's deliverance and the arrow of the deliverance from Syria. For thou shalt smite the Syrians and Aphek till thou hast consumed them.
Salakia. So Khan, Elisha told him to shoot the arrow out of the window, and that signifies deliverance. That's a prophecy that's going to come to pass. That's what it means. His body prophesied. But there's more. Keep going.
Verse 18. And he said, take the arrows, and he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, smite upon the ground. And he smote thrice and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him and said, thou shouldest have smitten 5 or 6 times. Then hadst thou smitten Syria till thou hadst consumed it. Whereas now thou shalt smite Syria but thrice.
So Khan, he tells him to smite upon the ground. Elisha, the man of God, told the king to smite upon the ground. So the king smote upon the ground 3 times. And Elisha was wroth. He was mad. He was upset. He was like, damn, you should at least hit it 5, 6, even 7 times. If you would have hit it a couple more times, you would have consumed Syria. I hate them. But now you're just going to consume them 3 times, thrice. It's all good. You still going to get delivered, but you're only going to consume them 3 times. That's the prophecy. That's where his body prophesied. Now let's jump back. Hold 2 Kings 13. But let's jump back to Sirach 48 and read 13 and 14.
Khan. Sirach chapter. Okay, you got it, King. You got it.
Yeah, Khan. Verse 13. It says, no word could overcome him, and after his death, his body prophesied.
We got that account. Go ahead.
He did wonders in his life, and at his death were his works marvelous.
He did wonders in his life, yet in his death, they were marvelous. Now go back to 2 Kings 13 and read verse 20.
Khan. So real quick, can I read 14 one more time?
Go ahead.
I don't want nobody to miss what just happened in 14. It says, so 2 Kings 13 and 14, and then I'm going to jump down to 20. 14 says, now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died. He dead right here.
He dead.
It says, and Joash, the king of Israel, came down unto him and wept over his face and said, oh, my father, the chariot of Israel and the horsemen thereof. And Elisha said unto him, how is he talking when it just told you in the verse above that he's dead? Now I'm going to jump down to 20, Con. Verse 20 says, and Elisha died, and they buried him, and the bands of the Moabites invaded the land at the coming in of the year. Con. And it came to pass, as they were burying a man, that behold, they spied a band of men, and they cast the man into the sepulcher of Elisha.
Okay, so Salakia. So there's people that we go into war with the Moabites, so on and so forth, and they're trying to bury a man. And there was a band of Moabites that came, and you know they kind of had a mess up. They just threw him in the sepulcher of Elisha. Go ahead.
And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elisha,
touched the bones,
he revived and stood up on his feet.
He just touched the bones. All right. Now Elisha been dead for a while. Your bones don't appear till after a while. Okay. And he touched his bones and he was brought back to life. They threw this dead man into the sepulcher of Elisha. And he just touched his bones and he came back to life. Just like it said in Sirach, in his death, his works was marvelous. How do you have the scriptures say, there is no work in the grave, right? You're done. But this brother soon, I don't even know how I can paint the picture more clear.
What more can you say?
What more can you say?
He touched his body, his bones, and he is alive now.
He's alive.
Ready to go fight against the Moabites at this point.
He stood up like, dang, this is crazy. I'm back though.
Dang, what's shaking?
Really? I thought I was dead. I guess not.
Right. Where my wife at? This is kind of
Where am I at?
How do you come back home and be like, hey, honey, I'm home?
Really? Like, yeah. Elisha? I just woke up next to him. I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got there.
Yeah, his grave. I was in it. I don't know. I might be Elisha now. I don't know. I'm a little confused, but
I feel stronger. You know what I'm saying? I feel mightier, but I don't know.
That is when I first seen it, I was like going crazy. I hope somebody going crazy, man. I hope somebody going crazy.
Really?
Somebody say that's crazy in the chat. Because that blew my mind when I seen it. Somebody should be smiling. Somebody should be chalking up their Bible. Somebody should be jotting down some notes. Just drop a fire emoji if that's hitting. And we're going to keep going, though, because it gets crazier. This chapter gets crazier, man. I'm talking about Sirach. You got anything else?
All
right, Khan. Captain DeBar, we can keep going to Sirach.
Khan, Sirach 48 and 15. For all this the people repented not, neither departed they from their sins, till they were spoiled and carried out of their land, and were scattered through all the earth. Yet there remaineth a small people and a ruler in the house of David.
Khan, and everybody, if you don't know, I'm gonna let you up real quick. Everybody didn't repent from their wickedness, even having these prophets and doing these amazing things. They didn't really repent. That's why the northern kingdom got led away by Shalmaneser.
Yep.
Right? They got led away into Nineveh, into Assyria. And that's in 2 Kings 17 or somewhere there. But it says in the rest of the verse, it says, some were scattered throughout all the earth, yet there remained a small people and a ruler in the house of David. So the southern kingdom, they kind of was holding it down, and it was a king on the throne who came from the seed line of King David. And who was that king? We're going to get into it. Verse 16, Baba Kashah.
Verse 16. Of whom some did that which was pleasing to God, and some multiplied sins. Ezekiel So like Ezekiel fortified this city, his city, and brought in water into the midst thereof. He digged the hard rock with iron and made wells for waters.
Khan. Officer Aharon.
Come. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 32. 2 Chronicles 32. Let me see. We can start at verse 3. 2. Start at 2.
Got it. 2 Chronicles chapter 32 and verse 2. It says, and when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was come, and that he was proposed to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel with his princes and with his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains, which were without the city, and they did help him. So there was gathered much people together, who stopped all the fountains and the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, why should the kings of Assyria come? Why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water? Also, he stretched himself and built up all the wall that was broken, and raised it up to the towers, and another wall without, and repaired Millo and the city of David, and made darts and shields in abundance.
All right, Khan. So Hezekiah seen that Sennacherib was coming to fight against Jerusalem. So what did he do? He built up walls, and he took the water from without and put it inside. Because he said, why should they come and find much water? That's just gonna fuel them. That's gonna help them out, Because when you're in war, it's a very grimy situation. You got one little pouch of water on you. You kind of drink that up. They not in the United States where it's kind of hot, then it kind of get cold, and kind of change a little bit. No, they're in Jerusalem. It's hot. It's kind of desertous land out there. It's dry sometimes. So he we shouldn't just feed them with water. Let's put the water inside. Let's build up these walls. Let's put iron walls on it. Because if you know the thing about walls, it's very hard to take down a city that's guarded and defensed with walls, especially good ones. You put up a wall, that's people don't even really want to mess with you at that time. Like, damn.
Man, that's why you got the Great Wall of China.
Exactly. It's called the Great Wall of China. Ain't nobody, you ain't getting through that. Not on foot. You're not just finna run into the wall and then just knock it down. This walls made of rock. You either gotta. Back in the day, they had high ladders to get up the wall, but yet then you got archers at the top. They shoot down. Then they can throw your ladder off. Now what? Well, damn. Now we got to go through the city door. Well, we can't get through there. They got archers at the top. They got men that's shooting bows with fire on them. That's a hard thing to get past. So that's why Hezekiah did that. He had taken counsel. He accepted the counsel, and he, fortified the city. Basically, is what's going on. He fortified the city. That's what's going on in Sirach. Let's see, verse 18. Sirach 48 and 18. We can start there. You hear me, Captain?
God, so it says, verse 18, in his time, Sennacherib came up and sent Rabsakis, and lifted up his hand against Sion and boasted proudly. Then trembled their hearts and hands, and they were in pain.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
It says, in his time, Sennacherib came up and sent Rabsakis and lifted up his hand against Sion and boasted proudly. What does it mean he boasted proudly? I got 2 Chronicles 32 and 10. I'll read it. It says, thus saith Sennacherib, king of Assyria, wherein do ye trust that ye abide in the siege of Jerusalem? Is Sennacherib actually saying this to him? No. Like it says, he sent the messenger. This is the messenger saying Sennacherib's message, basically. It says, wherein do ye trust that ye abide in the siege of Jerusalem? Doth not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die by famine and by thirst, saying the Lord our God shall deliver us out of the hand of the king of Assyria? What the king of Assyria and them is doing right now is what is it? They're sieging Jerusalem. What a siege is, They basically wait outside. They wait. You know, if you can't go outside to get food and water and such, then you're going to starve. So that's what the king of Assyria is saying. Like, why is Hezekiah finna make you sit here and starve yourselves out by famine and say to trust in the Lord God? That's basically what he's getting at. Verse 12. Hath not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars, and commanded Judah and Jerusalem, saying, Ye shall worship before one altar and burn incense upon it? Know ye not what I and my fathers have done unto all the people of other lands, where the gods of the nations of those lands anyways, Salakia, it says, where the gods of the nations of those lands anyways able to deliver their lands out of mine hand? So basically he's saying, know ye not that me and my fathers have done the same thing, what we finna do to you, to other nations? You know, they said they had the same message. Our God is going to deliver us, but yet we took them down. That's how he boasted proudly. I'm going to keep going. Verse 14. It says, who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed, that could deliver his people out of mine hand, that your God should be able to deliver you out of my hand? Now therefore let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this manner, neither yet believe him. For no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of mine hand, and out of the hand of my fathers. How much less shall your God deliver you out of mine hand? So he's saying no other God of any nation was able to deliver them. Don't let Hezekiah persuade you and say that your God is going to deliver you, because he won't. That's how he's being so proudful and boasting and, you know, saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You know, he kind of got morale on his side. He like, you know, me and my father already took down all these nations. You next. He's weakening the faith of a lot of men during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Officer Mahar, I think you got another account where they said where they was on the city walls, basically.
I'm right here. So
got it.
I'm getting the same account basically. Because Chronicles and Kings, they touch up. They got the same accounts in there, but some of them they elaborate on it a little bit more than others. Even the same account is in like Isaiah 36 and 37, I believe. And we're gonna touch on some of that too, Lord willing. But I'm gonna grab this real quick. And 2 Kings chapter 18 and verse 27. So real quick, the name that's mentioned right here in the 27th verse, it says Rabshakeh. Now, when you go back to Sirach 48, it says, where was we at? 48 and 18. It says Rabshakeh is the same person. Rabshakeh is Rabshakeh. But it says, but Rabshakeh said unto them, hath my master sent me to thy master? So he like, hey, did the king of Assyria send me to just talk to King Hezekiah? And when it says Ezekiel in Sirach chapter 48 and 17 is really talking about Hezekiah, because that's the king. Ezekiel and Hezekiah is the same person right here. So he like, did he send me to come to just talk to Hezekiah? And then he said, and to thee to speak these words, hath he not sent me to them? It's like, have he not sent me to the men which sit on the wall, and they may eat their own dung and drink their own piss with you? That's him boasting. He like, hey, my king, Sennacherib, he sent me not to just say this to Hezekiah, but to all of the Jews, to everybody that's sitting on the wall. Y'all gonna eat your own dung, and y'all gonna be drinking your own piss if y'all don't come underneath and be in subjection to us. Y'all gonna be drinking your own piss and eating your own dung, for real. That's the pride and that's the spirit that he was moving in, you know. So when it says boasted proudly, this is some of the stuff that he was boasting of. All right, it's back to you.
Let me start at verse 19. I'm gonna read 19 again. It says, then trembled their hearts and hands, and they were in pain as women in travail.
Mm-hmm.
It says, but they called upon the Lord, which is merciful, and stretched out their hands toward him. And immediately the Holy One heard them out of heaven and delivered them by the ministry of Isai.
It says, and immediately after they called upon the Lord, the Israelites, the Jews that was in the land, they was delivered by the ministry of Isai. Now, say it's talking about Isaiah, and of course we're gonna prove this, but let's keep going. Unless you got something, Aharon.
Yeah, I do got something.
God, it's on you.
This is Second Chronicles. Ooh, wait, no, read 21.
God, verse 21. He smote the host of the Assyrians, and his angel destroyed them.
Con. Second
Hey.
Chronicles.
Hey, real quick before you bring that out, can I grab 2 precepts?
Yeah.
Okay, Con. The water for this. So, Captain DeBar, can you grab 2 Kings 20 and 2? Excuse me. Yeah, 20 and 1. 2 Kings 20 and 1. And I'm gonna grab Isaiah.
God, this is 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 1. It says, in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, came to him and said unto him,
So
thus,
in the days of Hezekiah, King Hezekiah, Isaiah, the son of Amos, was in a cut with him. Now we're gonna go to Isaiah 1 and 1 because this is important to line up prophecy and history and to really get the understanding of the Bible. You got to kind of know the timelines of the Bible and who was around the same time. Isaiah was prophesying in the time of Hezekiah, and here's the verse to prove that. Isaiah 1 and 1. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. So he's telling you right there, period, point blank, Isaiah was prophesying in the days of King Hezekiah. And I just wanted to pour that out. It's on you, King.
Gone.
You and me? Oh, okay, go ahead.
Wait, who you talking to?
You, Aharon. It's like you.
All right. Real quick.
You want me to read the Sirach again or no?
No, it's all good. Real
So you
quick.
done with the Kings too?
Who, me? I wasn't in Kings.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm done with the Kings.
All right.
God. Real quick, the same things that's happening in Kings and in Chronicles, same thing that's happening in Isaiah. There's Isaiah 37 and 10. Says, thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, let not thy God in whom thou trustest deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the lands by destroying them utterly, and thou shalt be delivered. I mean, it says, and thou shalt be delivered. So basically, same accounts, same things that's going on in Chronicles, same thing that's going on in Kings, same thing that's going on in Kings, same thing that's going on in Isaiah. Now, it says, verse 21, he smote the host of Assyrians, and his angels destroyed them. Can you grab me 2 Chronicles 32 and 21, Baba Kashah? Make sure that's what I want.
God.
Start at 20. Baba Kashah.
32 and 20?
Yeah.
God. 2 Chronicles 32 and 20. And for this cause, Hezekiah the king and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, prayed and cried to heaven. And the Lord sent an angel which cut off all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face to his own land. And when he was come into the house of his God, they that came forth of his own bowels slew him there with the sword.
So, Khan, we seen that the angel of the Lord came and cut off Assyria, basically, and we won that battle. Mahar, can you grab me Isaiah 37? So it says that the king left with the same face. It says, but he also went to the house of his God, and they that came forth of his own bowels slew him with the sword. What does that mean? They that came forth of his own bowels slew him. What is that going into?
Can I start at verse 36?
I don't care.
Isaiah 37 and 36 says, and the angel of the Lord went forth and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpse. Bruh, look at the number. It says 185,000. That's a whole army, bro. They knocked off everybody.
That's a host.
How much is that? 185,000. 185,000 men were knocked off by this angel of the Lord.
Yep.
They woke up and everybody was dead.
Yep.
Verse 37. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt in Nineveh. He trying to shake the spot, get up out of there.
Con.
Verse 38. This the point. And it came to pass, as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, his god, that Adremelech and Sharezer, his son, smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Armenia, and Esarhaddon, Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his stead.
So Con, you got it right there. It says those that came of his own bowels, his own sperm, knocked them off when he was praying to his God. This is what you get when you boast against the Most High God. You wake up with your army dead, so you flee shamefaced, and then you go to the house of your God, and then you make supplication, and then you pray, and then your own kids kill you, and then your son reign up in your stead, all because you want to boast about what you and your father did. Man, the Most High so cold. He cold like that. He says he is a man of war. The Lord is his name. He's a man of war. He likes this. He gets down with this.
I say he loveth, the Lord loveth judgment.
Right?
Songs, bro. It's crazy.
He gets down with all this. He gets gritty.
He killed him while he was worshiping his God.
You missed the point. He killed him with his own kids.
No, I know that. 100%.
He's under that with 100%.
While he's worshiping his God, that's disrespectful.
That's disrespectful. Yo,
And with your own son, that's next level, bro.
that's next level. And people really like to put a soft spirit behind the Most High when that's not how he really is. That's not how he moving. Like, I get irritated when people put like a soft spirit behind him. Like, yeah, he's merciful, he's loving, of course, we love that, but he will dirt you in a second.
Hey, it tell you in Hebrews, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord.
Right? Solomon said, it is impossible to escape thine hand. This is the God that we're dealing with, but everybody like to play him as a soft guy and as a soft character when that's not really how it is. We just seen what the Lord had done. And not to mention the Most High smoting the 100 men that Elijah told him to kill. Not to mention Elijah telling him to kill the prophets of Baal, not to mention all this other stuff that already happened. Not to mention what's going to happen here in America, here in Babylon, here in your own neighborhood. But it's coming soon. Go ahead.
He had the angel knock off his whole army in one night. 185,000 men woke up dead.
Woke up in the spirit world. Like, what? Where am I at? Don't worry, King.
But they probably ain't even get buried.
No, I doubt it. The beast and the fowls came and ate them, vultures and whatnot. They in a desert land. Ain't nobody out there worried about burying these niggas, man. Get them out of here. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's next level.
That is next level. But let's get back to Sirach, because it still ain't even done with the code stuff yet.
God, so Sirach 48 and 23.
22.
Yeah, 22, Khan. It says, for Ezekiel had done the thing that pleased the Lord, and was strong in the ways of David his father, as Isai, the prophet, who was great and faithful in his vision, had commanded him. In his time, the sun went backward, and he lengthened the king's life.
All right. So let's get Isaiah chapter 38 in verse 5. Somebody had something?
I got 38.
All right, cons. Isaiah 38 in verse 5. Now we're gonna touch on the part first where it says he lengthened the king's life. What's that going into? Go ahead.
Isaiah 38 and verse 5 says, "Go and say to Hezekiah, thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years."
So Hezekiah cried unto the Lord, and the Lord, nothing's too hard for him. He lengthened his life 15 years. What is 15 years to the Lord, really? 15 years to us is amazing. Like, yeah, I needed that. The water, that's a long time. To the Lord, it's like, I give you a little bit of the spirit. It's all good.
Here go a few days.
Here go a few days. That's crazy.
Here go 2 weeks, King.
He lengthened his life 15 years. But that's not all. Because in Sirach, it said, what did it say? It says some crazy stuff. It says, in his time, the sun went backward. Now, if anybody has an account in their life, with their own eyes, have they seen the sun go backward? Let me know. I doubt it.
Testify.
Bring forth thy strong reasoning, But I don't recall it going backward anytime. Not in my life. But let's keep reading. Let's see what happened. Let's see what it's going into. Is it something deep? Is it parabolic? What's it going into?
Verse 6. Isaiah 38 and verse 6 says, "And I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend the city. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord."
Hold on. So, with the Most High, he always giving signs. He's always giving signs like, I'm a just like you said, I'm gonna deliver you out of the king of Assyria. And to prove it, I'm gonna give you a sign. I'm gonna show a sign to basically show you that I will do it. What is the sign? Go ahead.
It says, "And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing that he hath spoken. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of degrees, which is gone down in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward, so that the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was gone down."
So, back in the day, you dealt a lot with shadows. We didn't have clocks how we have clocks nowadays. You had a dial, you had a sundial, and you would tell the time by where the shadow at on the dial. It would be a flat dial, like a little table, and it'll be something hanging out of it, and you can tell the time by where the shadow is on that dial. Like, okay, it's noon, it's high up, you can't really see the shadow. All right, boom, it's gonna be dark. You see that the shadows over here now, so on and so forth. Brothers went out that day and they looking at the dial, and it's 2:00. For sure they felt it was later, but it's like, damn, it's 2:00 again. The sun went back 10 degrees. It moved back on the sundial. It moved back like the shadow went forward and then bam, moved back 10 degrees again. That's the sign. And that's mind-blowing.
Bruh, when we found this, we was like, bro, can I add too?
Go ahead.
Hey, another thing that people would do to tell the time, like he said, they would use the shadow. That you could actually use the shadow of your own body.
Yeah.
One of my homeboys kind of showed me. I couldn't like keep up with it because it was my first time seeing it. But he was like, "Yeah, see, look, check your phone. What time is it?" And you know how on a clock, and he showed me how, I don't remember exactly, but he showed me exactly because it was crazy though. But it's possible. But I want to grab this preset in Isaiah 31. Isaiah 31 and 8. It says, "Then shall the Assyrian fall with the sword, not of a mighty man, and the sword, not of a mean man, shall devour him, but he shall flee from the sword, and his young men shall be discomfited. And he shall pass over to the stronghold for fear, and his princes shall be afraid of the ensign, saith the Lord, whose fire is in Zion, and his furnace in Jerusalem." So it said everyone would be afraid of this ensign. An ensign is the same thing as a sign or a token. So you're just seeing it. You're seeing the prophecy before it hit the scene right here in chapter 38. So I just wanted to throw that precept on there.
Con. All
Come
good.
on, man.
All right.
So,
So
unless
okay.
y'all got anything, let's go back to Sirach.
I don't have enough.
Me either.
Con. Sirach 24. 48
Con.
24.
It says, he saw by an excellent spirit what should come to pass at the last, and he conformed them that mourned in Zion. He
Con.
shewed.
Salakia. So I'm gonna get this precept, and I'm gonna let Mohar take it over from here. I know he like breaking this one down. This is Isaiah chapter 39 and verse 5. So Isaiah showed Hezekiah a vision, the thing that should come to pass. Not a vision, Salaki. He was just telling him, giving him a prophecy, basically. It's Isaiah 39 and 5. Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house and that which thy fathers have laid up in store until this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
What he's talking about is 2 Kings chapter 24. The temple that Solomon built, all of them vessels, all of the everything got carried away into Babylon. He's prophesying about that. We can keep going.
Con, verse 7. It says, and of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon.
Con, and the kings that it was what's his name? It was Jehoiakim and Jehoiachin, and they actually, I think it was Jehoiakim. No, it was his son, Jehoiachin. He was the one who actually got carried away by Nebuchadnezzar's host into Babylon. You know, I gotta double check that, make sure I got the names right, just for future references. 2 Kings. It's been a second. So like, yeah, bear with me.
Yeah, good.
24 and 10. Let me see. That's not exactly what I want. Okay. 2 Kings 24 and 15. And he carried away Jehoiachin to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and his officers, and the mighty men of the land. Those carried he into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. So Nebuchadnezzar, his army, his host, actually took all of the mighty men that was in Jerusalem, and of course everything that was in our temple.
Con.
Where else was it more on that in Isaiah?
Yeah, it says, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon.
So this is actually some prophecy. It said the men that he carried away, some of the men will actually be eunuchs in the palace of Babylon. Now, if you go to Daniel chapter 1, that's crazy right here. Daniel chapter 1. So like, yeah, I'm turning it right now.
I'm here. I can read it.
Okay, Con, you got it.
Con, this is Daniel chapter 1, and I'm going to start at 2.
Con.
And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes.
Check that out. So, of course, going back to 2 Kings 24 again, a whole bunch of stuff was carried into Babylon. But it says the king spoke unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, and you got to understand what a eunuch is in this particular scripture. Eunuchs, when people think of eunuchs, they usually refer to a eunuch as someone who doesn't have his privy member, or someone who's abstaining from all manners of sex, and he's also known as a eunuch. Or a man who actually was born with a defect and he can't have or perform sex or reproduce. Those are the three types of eunuchs that people are aware of. But a eunuch can also simply mean a captain, you know, like an officer over a particular people, someone who has authority or rank. Now, Ashpenaz was a eunuch or officer. He was the master of them people. And he brung certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed, and of the princes. Verse 4 says, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in wisdom and cunning and knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. So as we keep reading, you find out who was those eunuchs that he prophesied about. Isaiah actually prophesied about Daniel in Babylon, because if you keep reading, what's their name? The three holy children,
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were actually underneath the eunuch too, and also Daniel. Read verse. We can jump to 6, and could you read 6 and 7 for me?
Yeah, this is Daniel 1 and 6. It says, now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego.
Con. And there you have it, man. It's going right back to Isaiah chapter 30. What was it, 39? 38. 38.
Isaiah 39 and starting at 5.
Con. It says, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Right, that was fulfilled in Daniel chapter 1.
Con.
That's so fire, bro.
That is heat.
That's fire. You got Isaiah prophesying, even though these niggas had to go in captivity, and he prophesied that part not fire, but the fact that he that was imparted unto him from the Lord. That's crazy. That's dope.
Con. Captain DeBar, you can finish off on verse 25, and we'll be done.
Con, verse 25, it says, he shewed what should come to pass forever, and secret things or ever they came.
Con. You got it, Mark.
It says he showed what should come to pass forever, and secret things or ever they came. And honestly, that's what Isaiah did. He spoke on them things that was going to come to pass. Them secret things, he spoke on them things. He shed a light on them things. Isaiah prophesied, hey, we just showed you, he prophesied about Daniel. He prophesied about the sun going backwards. He prophesied all kind of stuff, man. All kind of stuff, And I'm actually reading Isaiah right now. Hey, I just read, hey, give me Isaiah 41 and 21. Hey, Isaiah even prophesied about John the Baptist,
41:21?
Yeah.
Con. It's Isaiah chapter 41:21. It says,
So
let them
42 and 21. So
God, it's Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 21. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
He said he would do what to the law?
Con. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
Isaiah prophesied about the law being magnified and being made honorable, right? And of course, we already know that Yahushua hit the scene and he magnified the law, right? If you hate your brother, that's you killing him. And if you lusting after another brother's wife, you in adultery. He magnified the law. Isaiah already knew about those things, though. That's why it says in verse 25, he showed what should come to pass forever, and secret things are ever they came. Hey, Isaiah prophesied about Yahushua hitting the scene, how he would get beaten down so bad you wouldn't be able to recognize him.
Bro, he prophesied of him to the T.
Bro, to the T. That's why I don't understand how Old Testament Israelites can be like that, man. I don't know. It's not hitting.
Modern day Pharisees, King. I mean, is what it is.
Yeah, man.
That's the spirit of the Lord. I mean, ain't nothing we can do about it.
Right. A spirit of deep sleep.
Really?
But I ain't gonna get started on that, man, because hey, we prophesy in part, we know in part. And Lord willing, them brothers, they get the part that they missing. And likewise with me, because I ain't got it all figured out either. But that's a tough one. When I see that, it's like, hey, bro, saying.
You gotta tell me who this one is.
Really though, hey, bro, it talked about him coming back and moving in fury, and the slaying of the Lord is gonna be many. Like Isaiah was in a spirit, bro.
Yeah, I'm led to believe that Isaiah was Yahushua's favorite prophet because he quoted him so many times.
Right. quoted them to a T, man.
Serious.
For real, though. That's fire. Captain DeBar, you got anything?
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
Come on. Hey, the water for rocking with us and reading.
Con.
Officer Ron, you got anything?
No, sir.
Con. Man, we was thinking about diving into the Three Holy Children a little bit tonight. We should probably save it, though.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, if we're not doing nothing Sunday,
We can. I'm down.
we could possibly get it in, go live. Well, I don't know. We could possibly do it. All right, man. If y'all ain't got nothing else, can you grab that in Corinthians?
Con. This is 2 Corinthians. Oh, it's like it. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord.
So, for all the brothers, all the sisters that's tuned in tonight, my closing message is always the same. Make sure you steadfast, unmovable, meaning that you standing on this square, you standing strong in the faith. The things that you was taught, the things that you read, the things that you learned, you assured and believe in those things 100%, and you assured in the people who taught you those things also. Make sure you abounding in the work of the Lord as much as it be possible. It don't just have to be street teaching or teaching in general. You can teach by your actions. You can lead. You can live and lead by example, because we the salt of the earth. Hey, sometimes saying less is saying more. Let your actions speak for themselves. Because we know that the work that we putting in and day out, exercising our faith, keeping the commandments, working our work beat times, we know that it has a reward in the end when it's all said and done. And when our enemies is mocking and laughing, whether it's our enemies of other nations, enemies within our own nation, we know that we're going to be the ones who get that last laugh. We're going to be the ones who get that last laugh, man. That's going to be us. You got to believe that, though. Right? Strive for the truth until death. Hey, Sirach chapter 43 and 30 says, for the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough. And with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. Like General Hezekiah always say, never forget, death to America, Shalom Wabarak, Shalom Wabarak, Mashbaka, Shalom Barakatah.
Con. Shalom.
Shalom.